Evening everyone. So just finished Zwift Z racing. So I'm a bit knackered, but here we are with video. I said I'd do a follow-up video on the MyWhoosh platform. So here we are. This is the new home screen as it looks these days. Once you do your normal sign in, you get a similar screen to the Zwift pairing screen where it goes to connecting your smart trainer and heart rate monitor, etc. And this is where you land. So this is MyWhoosh home. So what I'm going to do tonight is a points race, just so you can see what platform's like, see what the racing's like. I doubt I'll be very competitive tonight given the effort I've just put in on Zwift. It was the final race in Z racing. It was a hard one. I'm a bit knackered, but to give you an idea, and you would see what the place looks like. And the race tonight is on their New World Belgium. So you get to see that. It's on the Bruges course. So it's a short Bruges course, about I want to say about 12 kilometers, 4 sprints and one like 1.5 kilometer climb. So should be quite interesting. I've not cycled it before. So let's see what it's like, see what Belgium looks like. They've got about I think about 9 courses on the new Belgium World. So I'll actually want to come back and do a few of those at some other points. But yeah, this is your home screen. And so over here you can just click into your workouts. Got choice of all sorts of different workouts that you can pick from. Go for sweet spot, and so you've got a whole load within there you can choose from as well. One thing that I know people don't like with Zwift is that you can't do favourites on the workouts, but you can here with MyWhoosh. If you see, you can favourite them, and you've got a functionality obviously here, create custom, quite obviously, create a custom workout. This is the plan section. You can indicate what type of racing you're looking to do, and they can then help you with that. So put you in certain course to help you work on the particular plan you've got. So it's not going to be for everyone, but it helps if you do have a specific plan and you want to work towards something. You've got the option for just going into a free ride, just like you have with Zwift. These are the 5 worlds they have there at the moment. So you've got Colombia, Alula, Arabia, Australia, and then New World Belgium. So we'll have a quick look at the Belgian course. What have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 courses on Belgium at the moment. So this is the one we'll be doing tonight, Bruges course. So kind of looks like it's around the city centre, Bruges city centre, with I'm assuming just a steep hill section on the edge of the city maybe. We'll find out in a minute, I guess. How long have we got? Got a few minutes before the race starts. Just want to make sure I don't miss the start of the race. I think it maybe only shows the sections there that you completed, so it shows you the times, and I haven't done that route before. But as you can see, you've got some obviously longer routes, more hilly. This one, literally virtually actually a little city circular course, if you like. Brussels Town Square, another one like that. Again, a couple of big hills on it. It kind of looks like a bit like London, with where you've got the Fox Hill, Box Hill, a bit like that. So a nice little mix of shorter and longer or hillier ones in there. let's have a look and see. Actually, I can't remember which course. I did one of the courses quite recently and I can't remember which one it was. I was going to title this video My First Points Race, but I did actually try recording this video last week, but I managed to muck up the recording. So although this is my second points race on Zwift, on My Whoosh, it's my first time hopefully successfully recording, because last week all it got was lots of me talking and a completely black screen because it didn't work. You've got similar setup, garage where you can go in, choose from your various bikes and wheels. I don't have a great number at the moment because I've only really got primarily the free ones that you get when you start. You have a similar setup for setting up your avatar, how your avatar looks, facial hair, you've got the glasses as well, somewhere or other. Oh yeah, here we go, in the apparel section. Got headgear, shoes, glasses, gloves, eyewear, all that kind of thing. So relatively normal. I've got the Rose Bikes kit on at the moment because it's one of the few that was recognisable between the what I'm used to from Zwift. But I think in tonight's race everyone will be wearing the same kit, which is actually kind of annoying when you're in an all categories race. Makes it really hard to identify people once you figure out someone's faster or slower than you in a particular segment, like a sprint section. You want to be able to identify them easily, so that the next time you come up to a similar type of segment, you can either get fast to keep up with them, or you know that you've got a good chance, right, oh, that guy there, I can beat them, you know. So I'll probably have a moan about that once we get to the race. But yeah, you can see a similar section where you've got your helmets, shoes, socks, gloves, and eyewear, yeah, let's give my guy some glasses. Now, got a calendar in there where you can see progress of rides you've done, see the items you've signed up for. So you can see that last week I did Tune Up Tuesday where my recording didn't work, and today again we're signed up to Tune Up Tuesday, and that begins in a few minutes time. So you can see here, this was my progress for the previous week. So I did 13.9 kilometers because obviously I did that one race, but it gives you a total for your week's progress for your week's activities in a nice little easy kind of bite-size total at the end there, which is quite good. And obviously you can click and see previous months in your calendar. Go to the events section, you can get a list of upcoming events. I don't really like that it's kind of there isn't anywhere kind of like Zwift Power or other sites, Zwift Hacks, etc., where you can kind of go and get an easy list of what upcoming events there are. You have to log in to the app to see that. And that's not available on all platforms, so it isn't necessarily something that you can do on the go and then like plan and maybe join an event before coming back to your computer and your bike and what have you, which makes it a bit annoying. You also can't check up on who you're going to be racing against and what their power profile's like, what other results they've had, whether they're a sprinter or 5-minute power guy or anything like that. So, and that's definitely something that they need to address. because it makes it really hard to kind of race tactically, cleverly against people. You have no idea who you're going to be racing against until you get, until you finish the race. Here we go, into the race. I don't want to miss the start. It's very annoying not being able to check on little camera bit like you get with Zwift when you join the pens, where it goes into random cameras, etc. And yes, looks like we are all in the same kit again, so potentially just different people's different helmets is the only thing we've been able to see between them. I have no idea why they put everyone in the same kit for this, because it's not like there's hundreds of people like a free ride on Zwift or whatever. We might want to sort of reduce the processing power of the computers or whatever, but there you go. You can see the main bar across the top there, shows you your watts, the heart rate, the cadence, and then one of my big bugbears for the MyWhoosh platform at the moment is, you'll see in this bottom left-hand section here, you have what we call the mini map, like the route of left and right and what have you as you're going along. But then top right-hand side, you have this section, which is your gradient. So you're looking at completely opposite sections of your monitor to get the gradient of the route you're coming into and the turns and information on the route you're coming up to. I'll send MyWhoosh an email about this. I've sent them some feedback in the past. They came back to me about it, but yeah, having those two in completely separate areas of the screen, certainly I find it really annoying, and doesn't seem to be any good reason for having them split like that. Also, the zone 1 through 6 information here, free rides or workouts, I can really understand having it there, but for races, it's just space that's being taken up that isn't really relevant. You're going to be working hard if you're competing in a race, and you don't really need to know that. You've got your heart rate monitor, you've got your watts, your cadence, etc. Zone information is important maybe for workouts, particularly for workouts, maybe for free rides, because you might want to keep in a certain zone, do a nice long zone 2 ride. But for race events, seems completely stupid to have it there. Let's put some music on the background here. I hope you won't hear it, but just something to get me going, because here we go. Right, see at the bottom here, you've got this. Here's the chat section. Unfortunately, that's the position on the screen it takes all the time if you want to keep it open. Again, positionally, definitely not something that I am a fan of. No, I'm going to close that. As much as I would like to have the chat open, I don't want it there. I want it off to one side, not like right on my avatar in the middle of the screen. Now, as you can see, the visual approach, visual of MyWhoosh is got got a slightly different feel to it than Zwift, but graphically on a par with each other. I'm running a pretty decent 3000 series RTX graphics card, and I would say Zwift and MyWhoosh are pretty similar visually in terms of the quality. The experience in MyWhoosh seems to look a bit slower for some reason, and a few people have commented on that. I'm not sure if that's just because of a lack of other riders. There's not like bustling people coming past and you passing people on a frequent basis, because there aren't enough people for that. So maybe if I was like, this race is an all categories race, so the reason I'm going backwards, apart from being tired, is that a lot of the people in this race will be a lot stronger riders than me. But at the front end, when there's, you know, a few of those people together, does it look faster? I don't know. And that's one of the biggest problems MyWhoosh have got at the moment, is lack of numbers, lack of rider numbers. Now you've got really only two options to ride on MyWhoosh in races, not bots or free rides or random type group events. The two race events really are this Tune Up Tuesdays, which they have on 3 time slots, of which this one is 8 p.m. UK, 7 p.m. UTC for Universal Time, if you want to check what that is for you locally. But obviously, as competitors to Zwift, they'll be looking at how can they get riders over from Zwift? How can they steal users effectively? And they've only got 2 races really. They've got one on a Sunday and they've got this one. And this one is in direct competition with the busiest night on Zwift, Tuesday evenings. Okay, I'm going to shut up for a sec and try and do this sprint. See the green barrier ahead, that's start of the sprint segment. There's 4 of them on this course. Okay, so I came 3rd on that. I wish at the top where it says 29 out of 29, 30 out of 30 now, it showed your position on the list, on the results for that segment, instead of how many people have come through the segment. Because who cares how many people have come through the segment so far? What people are interested in is where they came, particularly since it's a points race. But going back to what I was saying about My Whoosh trying to get people onto the platform, they've made really a big mistake having their one weekday racing series on the same day as the biggest night of racing on Zwift. Anytime the ZRL, Zwift Racing League, is on, there are thousands of people racing on Zwift on a Tuesday. And all of the European time zones are absolutely packed. And when it's not on, those people change to the Z racing, which is, instead of team-based, is the individual racing, which I just did a race, Z racing race, before I did this, which is why I'm so tired. And in that race, there were 205 riders in my category, over 500 in total in that one race. Okay, another sprint section already. Fuck. Basically, I'm having to scroll down to find that out while changing gear and breathing. 'Cause you can see, despite the different styles, they have similar kind of approaches in some ways. So, you know, the roadside appetizing style boards, the fake crowds, balloons. Just got those balloons in some areas as well. And different but similar approaches to the graphical look of the app, of the races, of the courses, the countryside, etc. The particular styles you may prefer one to the other. I think they're both fine. And pretty similar level of graphics. I know some people have said that My Whoosh runs a bit more slowly, is a bit heavier on hardware than Zwift. Whether that's because their minimum settings aren't as low as Zwift's, or because it's a much newer product, it's written around newer, higher level hardware. potentially, but they have an auto setting by default in your profile for the level of graphics. You can choose low, medium or high. You'll see here you get a similar warning about trying to hold the wheel and get draft as you do within Zwift. Now, we did used to, when I checked it out in the past, get a stronger notification of whether or not you were receiving draft from the rider ahead or not. That's either far more subtle now or has been removed, because I'm not noticing anything obvious in terms of getting the draft, other than the slight changing of the arms on my avatar. Definitely they could play into the desires of Zwift users by making that draft information a visible field, a bit like watts and heart rate and cadence and what have you, or travel distance, you know, a little bar or counter of some sort that shows, you know, whether they're getting any draft, good, low, medium or high, whatever it is, you know. But the other thing you see is on the top left hand side where they've got those sprint segments. They move on to showing details of wherever the leaders are at the moment, not where you are. So if they're 2 segments ahead, it shows the information for 2 segments ahead of you, which is, well, not very useful. You can click back on the little dots there, but you then have to try and remember to do that. Oh, here we go. Another sprint. Wasn't ready for that. Oh, yeah, legs are dying. Right. She had to go. I had to go back. That was the 3rd sprint, and it's showing the 4th one already, which I'm not at. Also, you may not be able to see it because of where my camera is, but kind of where you're seeing my hands here, there's a section with the speed that you're traveling at, and also has your average speed as well. And the mini map has kind of here on my wiggly hand showing you how many kilometers you've climbed, ridden so far, how many meters you've climbed, and how many calories you've used. No, not seen that before. A little dab. mentioning in the chat. Looks like the chat's German tonight. I don't speak German, unfortunately. Beyond, like Guten Tag or something. You can see on the right hand side, you've got a very similar other riders section showing you the position, current watts and distance, and time distance ahead of you. So anyone who's used to riding a Zwift or RGT or Indie Velo, that kind of thing, will be quite used to that.
Hey Mark, next sprint section is coming up. You want me to lead you out?
Exertions of tonight are kind of getting to me. Earlier race this evening was very tough. Lots of climbs, really killed my legs. So I'm not exactly expecting this one to go well. It's more about giving you guys a video, showing you what it's like, letting you see the Belgian world on this Bruges course. So as a kind of a quick glimpse. So no, people on other platforms are always interested in other routes that they haven't ridden before. And you see that top left hand side there where it's now showing Philip Graves on the Volkenberg climb. I've still got one more sprint to go before I get to the climb, but it's already, I'm now onto the finish because apparently he's finished already. So I've got to do the climb and the sprint before that before I then get to the overall results. And my sprint starts in 300 minutes, but it's showing me the finishing results. So let's take myself back to this sprint. So I think it's the one that'll be starting in a minute. Yeah, here we go. Not sure if I've got anything left in the legs for this one. We'll give it a go. Probably doesn't help that I'm approaching it relatively slowly. Where's the banner? Oh, I couldn't see the banner. Didn't know how long I had this. Oh, that's not bad. One thing with my whoosh that I've noticed is that the increase or reduction of power really seems a lot more sudden in both directions. If you come off the power like this, you very quickly slow down and come to a stop. You would roll on for quite a bit longer on Zwift. And then you put a big spurt of power on, it shows up a bit more quickly, but it means it's a bit harder to try and keep just behind someone if they're coming past you. Trying to match to their speed and power is a lot trickier, or it seems to be for me, than it is on Zwift. Maybe that's just experience, maybe it's something you get used to. This is only my third time using my whoosh. because despite it being just as decent to look at with a decent range of courses, many of which you will never have ridden on any other platform, which is its own pro, you know, somewhere nice and different for once. It does have that perennial problem of it's just empty. Yeah, they do some free ride stuff and group stuff with bots, but if you want to be riding around with half a dozen bots, or with 50 plus actual people who will chat and keep you going when you're doing a free ride, and maybe just doing an hour of Zone 2 or something, and you want to have something to distract you. Just a bit of emergency fudge, because I'm knackered now. My legs are really dying. I'll probably start pretty soon as well. But yeah, so the big problem they've got is lack of people, lack of actual real people riding, and particularly for European riders, so UK, Europe, the busiest, you know, the biggest group of cyclists on Zwift, the busiest time zones, you've only got the Sunday race and this one. Sunday race requires dual power, so you have to have a smart bike as well as a power meter, weigh in videos, verification stuff. A lot of people won't want to or be able to do that. Certainly I don't have power meter, well, crank or pedals, because just don't have to spend money for that, much as I would like to get them. But I was looking at dual power meter pedals, and even the cheaper ones are like £800. It's a lot of money. So that really leaves this race, which doesn't require that. Just sign up and get your profile going, and away you race, you know. I'm sure if they have any outrageous performances, they check on it like they do with other things. But they put it on at the same time as when basically everyone who might want to be here is racing on Zwift. They need Wednesday night races on MyWhoosh. Tuesday night, Zwift has got too many people, it's too organised, too long standing for them to be able to steal all those riders away. They're always going to be there until such time as some other place has another organised system, organised race, with lots of people. And I'm not talking, 20, 30 people. Like I say, in my category alone tonight, there are over 200. In Zwift Racing League, there will be about 90 per category across about 8 different time zones just for Europe. And Thursday nights on Zwift, you've got Team Time Trial, WTRL, which is even longer standing. Now, I'm not a big fan of Team Time Trials, so wouldn't really be amiss to me to miss that. But I know a lot of people are really passionate about it, and it is very popular, and it gets a lot of people. So those are two very long-standing, very well-attended, organised racing situations on Zwift. One on Tuesday, one on Thursday, with thousands of people organise their timescales around. So Friday nights potentially difficult. You know, a lot of people go out or have other plans. So if we just want to get an organised racing situation going, they really need to be looking at doing one on a Wednesday. Tune Up Tuesday is a nice title. Rolls off the tongue nicely. It's a nice idea to have an all cats point event. Nothing wrong with that at all. But it's on the wrong night to attract people. Put it on a Wednesday night. If this same event was on a Wednesday night, they would probably get immediately at least twice as many people on it. And it would likely grow quite quickly, because that's not an established night for big things on Zwift. And that's realistically who they're competing against. They want to be getting riders come and play, to come and experience their platform and decide, I like it, I want to spend more time on My Whoosh. Now, whether that means splitting their time between Zwift and My Whoosh or coming over altogether, doesn't really matter, so long as they spend more time on My Whoosh, as long as they come back regularly to something. And that increases numbers, and as numbers increase, more people will come over, because people talk about events when they have lots of people in them. Now, it helps that My Whoosh are offering some little prize goodies, and this race for the points winner, okay, so it's an all cats race, probably a very strong rider is going to get the overall points win every week. But still, you know, if you were to turn up and do it, and they get a little goodie bag of things, I'm not exactly sure what's in it, but it's a prize nonetheless. Yes, something to go for. I won a prize. Everyone likes that, don't they? And I think they also give one out to the outstanding segment points rider. So it doesn't take into account the finishing position points, just the actual segments. I think there's a prize for them as well. Again, another goodie bag of some sort. I'm not exactly sure what's in them, but something's always better than nothing, isn't it? Especially if it's free. So yeah, their big issue is not enough people, and they've chosen the wrong night for this event. Well, obviously, for calling it Tune Up Tuesdays, it needs to be on a Tuesday, but they need a good, organised Wednesday night racing event. Now, they have other things that they could do to attract Zwift users. So I was speaking about the map position at the start of this video, saying how I don't like the complete separation of the gradient and the mini-map. Now, some people may not be that well about it. Some people may not care at all. Some people are going to feel like me, that it's really annoying. But one of the things that Zwift users have been asking for a long time is customizable layout of items on the racing page. When you're in a race, in a ride, in a workout, whatever it is, being able to move these elements. Now, there shouldn't really be any reason why computer programmers couldn't make it so that each of those individual elements could be repositioned to different places on the page, on the screen whilst forcing them to still be within the bounds of the screen. So they can lock to edge, you know. That would allow you to position them where you want them. So also, like, particularly where I've got my camera at the moment, that's because of how I'm used to racing with Zwift. I've got my camera positioning set up. I would have to move that somewhere or other to see the mini-map proper, or to show to people watching my videos the mini-map if it was racing. But if I could move the things around on screen, then I could position them how I wanted them, and keep my camera in the same positions I'm used to as I want it. Now, one of the most popular things serious Zwift racers use at the moment is the add-on application called Source for Zwift, which does exactly that. It allows you to position power data, maps, chat, other riders, power bar, etc. at the top, draft information, draft gauge, W prime, so your W barrel value, all wherever you want them on the screen. And people are paying extra for that on top of Zwift. I use it in my videos. You can check out my Zwift videos. You'll see I've got that overlaid on my Zwift screen, so I've got things laid out how I want them. Now, I could turn off the Zwift user interface altogether and completely replace it with various source for Zwift information, but there are still a few little things that you want from Zwift because you can't turn off some bits and not others, and you can't reposition any of it. My Whoosh could easily get a leg up on Zwift by making that kind of thing available, allowing people to reposition stuff on the screen. It's a simple thing, but people would like it. Going back to this, I finished my race there. Wasn't much of a race. I don't think I did very well. Okay, change just come up. Sort that out in a minute. I don't know how I managed to do that. But you'll see this is the finish screen for the when you come off a race. It's quite a nice presentation here, actually. So I like this. You get your overall positioning. I think I'll have to scroll quite a way to see me. Hey, Zach there. He's very top class rider. There we go. It was 32 out of 32. That's it. I wasn't really going for it at the end there. And then you've got the breakdown of all the various segments for the race you just did. So you can see here on that first sprint, I came third, not bad. Then second sprint, 7th, third sprint, 10th, and the fourth sprint, 4th. So, yeah, not too bad. Should we check the time? That's like 30 seconds out of 32. Oh no, 31 out of 32. Yeah, so I wasn't really trying by then. Now, these arrows here to the right and left, presumably for when you've got either multi-lap races or longer races with more than, it looks like you can probably display about 7 segments on the one page there, but they can clearly allow you to scroll along and see all the various segments of the race you've just done. Nice layout, nice information, time, average watts, gap, etc. It's good. It's nice layout, nice final kind of post-race information. What I would like though for this overall section is, or for another an additional page, to show the points, totals, because this is only showing the times, and this was a points race. Now, it might be that this isn't here because they go off and calculate things and possibly disqualify something, but they could, I'm sure they could have a provisional points, you know. So little warning, subject to checking or subject to final checks or whatever, but show them, you know, assuming nothing goes wrong, assuming no one's disqualified, and you know, no one didn't finish the race or missed a segment or somehow, or didn't have a smart train or didn't have a heart rate or whatever else they might get disqualified or lose points for. At least have a provisional points situation there, because they don't have anything like Zwift have with Zwift Power or with the companion app. So there's no easy way to go and check everything. There will be a race result show up on the MyWhoosh.com website at some point. I'm not sure exactly when that gets populated. I checked about halfway through the week and noticed that it was there. It may well be that it shows up later tonight. It may be in the next couple of days or so. But they have nothing along the comprehensiveness of Zwift Power. It's something they need. So you need to be able to check who you're going to be racing against. I was like, for instance, just saw in there, Zach Neff. He's a top class rider. Now this was an all categories race, but if I was coming up to segments and he was sprinting off in front of me or going off the way up a climb, if I didn't recognise that name, you know, I might be tempted to try and stick with them. There's no way I'd stick with Zach now. And you need to have some idea of the people you're racing against, particularly given that MyWhoosh doesn't have the same kind of category system as Zwift. What it does is it places, for those races that are categorized, this was an all categories and open cat race, so everyone racing together. So, you know, categories had no real bearing on it. The races or events they do have, where people are put into categories, they're put in at the point that they join the race, and then put into those categories, so you don't know who you're going to be racing against. Even if you could see a list of people who have joined, which you can't, there's no way to know whether you'll be in the same category as them, and there's no way to check what their 20-minute power is, or their 5-minute power, or their 15-minute sprint, 15-second sprint, or any other information about them, their age, their weight, or anything that might go into, you know, generally speaking, much heavier people don't tend to be as good up climbs. It's not always the way. I'm relatively light at 70 kilos. I'm not all that good up climbs. I'm a better sprinter. But seeing things like people's 20-minute, 5-minute, and 15-second power gives you an idea of their kind of power profile. Is this someone I can race against uphill? Is it someone I can sprint against? Is it someone that I can overpower on a longer, like 20-minute effort and wear them down? You don't get any of that. Now, I don't know if they have any plans for it, but it's something that they need to get sorted out. People are used to having that information because Zwift has been around for so long, and because people who are serious about racing started using Zwift Power, and the other racing sites that have come up, like Zwift Rider app and what have you, that do other information about people's racing score as well as their powers. There's 3 or 4 different sites now that have that kind of information for Zwift riders. Don't have anything like that for MyWhoosh. Whether they do something along those lines on the MyWhoosh website, or whether they have a separate app or a separate website for it, so, you know, MyWhoosh Power or whatever they want to call it, whether it, as I say, whether it's a separate website, whether it's in the main MyWhoosh website, whether it's a separate app, they need to have some way for riders to find out who they're racing against and what their basic power profile is, even if it is literally just 20-minute, 5-minute, 15-second power information about riders. it makes a huge difference to how you race tactically in segment races, in races that have, whether it's a time segment or point segment or not. If you have a short steep hill, or if you have a longer hill, or if you have a sprint running into the finish line, is this something where you can benefit, where you can drop this other person? If you have no other information out of the riders, it really changes how you can try and tactically win a race or break other riders. That none of that being available really is a drawback to MyWhoosh at the moment. But that's not to have a go at them. They're working, they're improving stuff, they're putting new things in, they're making changes to improve the layout, the site, functionality, the features. So I will send them an email and I'll make the suggestions to them. I made some a few months ago. One of the suggestions I made was that they should try and prioritise adding a European world in as their next world. Now, I'm sure I wasn't the only person that said that. It just happens their next world was Belgium. Well done, My Whoosh. But I'm sure it wasn't just from me saying that. I imagine quite a lot of people who came on. Yes, it's nice having Rolla and Colombia and Saudi Arabia and Saudi Arabia? Forgotten now, that's really bad. And Australia. Different places, people like riding, different cities and what have you. But there's quite a desire for the powerhouses of European cycling to be represented in these apps. So Belgium and Flanders and Italy, for instance. Italy would be a great choice, Spain as well. Now, Zwift have got quite a decent amount of French and English routes in there. They have one tiny like TT section of Bologna for Italy. And then it's mainly their kind of less realistic routes, so like Rolla, which is obviously a fictional place, and the Mercury Worlds, which is kind of Japanese based, but is semi-fictional, let's say. And people have been calling for a long time for more of the kind of European heartland of cycling, the real powerhouses of cycling, like one day and tour racing. So for My Whoosh to add in Belgium was a very good choice, very smart decision. It's a popular cycling place. There are known cities and areas, strong cycling heritage, and I look forward to coming back and trying some of the other routes in it. But yeah, they have other things on the app, on the site, in terms of the availability of data, the personalization functionalities, that are going to have to step up if they want to attract people over from Zwift. But the big thing is they need an organized racing event of some description on a night that isn't in direct competition with the biggest night on Zwift. So they really need a Wednesday night racing competition. It needs to be organized, it needs to be long term, preferably some kind of prizes to try and attract people over. It doesn't have to be big. Like I said, these little goodie bags they have on Tuesday, I'm sure anyone who gets one is really happy to get one. Everyone likes a bit of a prize. So it doesn't really matter to a certain extent what it is. It could just be, a My Whoosh branded bidet, or a headband maybe. I wear a headband, I'm not sure why I've cut all my hair off recently, so not much up there, but I do sweat quite a bit. But something to try and entice people to come and try it out, and maybe get a little freebie. Everyone, a little bit of motivation there to get something. Their Sunday racing with the Sunday Race Club they do has real money prizes. That will attract a certain amount of people, but it does require people to have a power meter as well as a smart bike, do verification videos and weigh-ins and what have you, And a lot of people can't do that, or aren't willing to do the verification videos, the weigh-in videos and stuff. So it'll have limited impact in terms of the numbers of people it gets. It will get people, but it won't get masses of people, because the vast majority of people that they're trying to attract won't have power meters. So my biggest single suggestion to MyWhoosh is sort out a Wednesday prime time European, so like 7 p.m. EU UK-ish time, racing series of some sort. Wild Wednesdays, whatever you want to, Whoosh Wednesdays. Doesn't really matter what you call it. You need it organised, needs to be compelling, preferably something along the lines of Zwift Racing League, where you have some scratch races, some points races, certain number of weeks. Could be an individual event. They could add a team element over time, but at the moment they don't have the riders for that. So at least initially, it would need to be an individual event. But if they build it out and they get popular over time, they can add that team element into it, even if it's a secondary thing, the team. Whereas with Zwift Racing League, it's primarily a team thing. Or Zoo Racing, like I did tonight, that's an individual thing primarily, has a team element on the backside. So I raced for Team Herd. And they need to really publicise and try and get people over on a night that isn't in direct competition. So my big suggestion, MyWhoosh, get a Wednesday night racing series going. Get a compelling series of some sort going. You don't want it to be all points races, because some people don't like points races. Some people like the longer events where they can stick in there, try and stick with the front group. They can go for breakaways. They can try and out-finish people for a win. But they might not be very good at going really hard for small segments. They might get dropped off on that all the time. I, to a certain extent, quite like points races. But generally speaking, you'll get more people if you either have a mix of them, or say go back and forth, have 1 month that's points, one that's scratch. But I would say have a mix, so have some points and some scratch races within the same, however long period of time it is. Currently, the what's called the Tune-Up Tuesdays runs for 3 weeks at a time. So do three points races, have an overall winner, overall points winner, and they give out some little prizes, as I say, some goodie bags. Well done to anyone that gets them. Winners, those segments, doing like 5 segments in a 12, 13 kilometer race. It's quite hard, particularly in an open category. There are going to be some people really pushing it, so to get any kind of points, you're going to have to go for it on those segments. But I would say, a month-long series, whether that's 4 or 5 events in a month, on a Wednesday, with a mix of points and scratch races, they could really start to attract people over. It's not a big night on Wednesdays on Zwift. The platform as a whole on MyWhoosh is good. It's visually on a par with Zwift, although it has a different feel to it. And you have the same kind of, basic setup of your avatar, choice of bikes and wheels. You have the same basic information on screen with your power and your map and what have you. I like the segment information. I don't like that it moves on to other bits based on the rider who's in the lead rather than where you are. But that's it's a pretty easy fix. They can change that. And you don't get that in Zwift. So you don't get that segment breakdown in the same way on Zwift, where it shows you each of the segments on screen there. You can see the most recent one for a few seconds on screen there in Zwift. But yeah, I quite like how they do that, except when it moves on to the leader's position, not your position. But anyway, that's my whoosh points race night for you. A little bit of discussion. drop me your comments, drop me a like, drop me a subscribe. If you like my stuff, I'll be doing some more videos. I do quite a lot of Zwift videos you've probably seen. I'll try and come back and do some more My Whoosh stuff, hopefully on a Wednesday night, because me included, I race quite heavily on a Tuesday night on Zwift. So doing this, as you can see, I was already knackered from doing a Zwift race tonight. So I couldn't really be competitive. And my commitments to riding on Tuesday on Zwift are quite long standing. And I have a team that I race for with Zwift Racing League, which starts in a couple of weeks' time. So it's kind of hard for me to come and do this one on a Tuesday. I want them to have another option for me to come up and be able to then use their platform. It's a pretty good platform. I want to see it improve. I want to be able to come over and enjoy it and share it with you. So fingers crossed. As I say, I'll drop them an email. I'm not having a go. Suggestions. Just suggestions. If you've got any notes, got any comments, what did you think of it? How badly did you think I did in the sprints with my tired legs? Come and let me know. Drop me a like and subscribe, please. You know, it always helps. And in the meantime, as ever, bring a towel and don't panic.